All right, welcome everybody. At 7 o'clock, we'll get started. A reminder, this meeting is streamed live and recorded for public viewing on the town's YouTube page. Moving on, if there's any part of the commentary tonight that is conflict of interest, please declare it at that time. I have a motion here by Mike Nagel, seconded by Gordon McKenzie. The minutes be adopted of the Special Events Committee, and that those confidential minutes of the closed sessions of the committee remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemption provided in the Municipal Freedom of Information Privacy Act. Everyone should have it in their package there. Is there any corrections, amendments to that? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried, thank you. I'm just gonna add one little thing into the agenda. Al's not here. Okay. I was gonna ask him about that storage update, kind of what work permit discovered on that. I can hold it over.
I have to hold it over. Sorry.
Yep, no problem.
What?
5.1 sponsorship update, Mike.
So far, we've had $12,000 come in. Hopefully, there's still more to come.
Tiers for the sponsorship again?
Bronze, silver, gold, and platinum.
Through you to Mike, are you getting positive feedback from people?
We're all pretty well. Had a couple that have dropped what they were giving before, but all we're doing fairly well.
Good. Good to hear.
Anything else on that sponsorship? No? No? Okay. What's 5.2 Ride with Pride meeting that we had?
Right. So, we met with Natalie, last week, 2 weeks ago, to discuss whether or not we could merge the Ride with Pride in with the Community Safety Day. In discussing the fact that Community Safety Day, in discussing where to finalize where to hold our events, we thought that maybe adding Ride with Pride into the Canada Day event would make more sense. Because the kids will already have all their bikes from the bike parade. So they've biked to wherever the end of our parade is. And at that point, we would then be able to easily have the kids go through the obstacle course, as well as the company that Natalie uses also looks at the kids' bikes to see if they're the right size, if they need any adjustments, that sort of thing. So we did go through some of the costs with Natalie, and kind of where we're at with that event. So as far as what she's already confirmed, versus what's still kind of finalized. So she had originally had it set up for July 20th. So she's waiting to see if we can move that to June 29th to follow in with our Canada Day. We are waiting to confirm the price for the company that does the bike demonstration. She thought last year it was about 2,500, so we'll have to make sure that we have enough space in our budget for that. She hasn't done any significant fundraising for it this year, so any of the costs that we incur from this event we'll have to fund out of our budget. She does have some money set aside to raffle off a bike or two. So in the past, they had done bike draws, where they had gotten 3 or 4 bikes to raffle off to different kids that were at the event. So the other items that were at the event in the past were bouncy castles, which we would have, depending on the event we might have or we might not. With Canada Day, we hadn't talked about having bouncy castles at this point. Food, as well as face painting. She had hired a face painter with 3 different artists, and that was about 1,500. So I don't think we'll go that route, but we'll look at some options there. We are still trying to see how we can merge it into Canada Day. If we have to keep it as July 20th and tie it in with our safety day, then I think we'll have to think about where we do safety day. Because if we do, so the Optimist and Kamalaki already do a bike safety event, so we don't really wanna do another bike safety event that's similar to what they're already doing. So it makes more sense to do it in Wyoming because there's already a bike safety event in Kamalaki. This would give residents of Wyoming, and I don't think Petrolia does anything, so it would also give people in Petrolia a chance to come and have their bikes looked at and ensure that their helmets are properly fitted.
Is there an opportunity for this committee, along with the Nevilles and the Optimists, to work together, combine those events and host them in Kamlaki then?
That is another option. Natalie didn't seem overly enthusiastic about moving the event outside of Wyoming. So it is something to consider because if we work with the Optimists, I believe do their own, they don't use a separate company, which is fine. It would save the costs. Although the company does have different ramps to ride on and it's a bit more technical for the kids. So it would appeal to probably a larger audience than what we might get with just a more traditional bike safety course.
Is this a temporary thing, her handing this off, or does she want to get away from it and look for somebody else to run it?
She's looking for somebody else to take it over. She's hoping to do some fundraising in the future so that she can raffle off bikes at the event. But she's hoping that it's something that we could put into our repertoire of events. That was one of our concerns though, is although we could potentially do it this year, it may not last long-term as an event. It's gonna depend how the public likes it and what kind of feedback we get on the event as well.
I just wondered if it would fit in the mandate of what the group's mandate is. Nothing against it. I think it's a good idea, but I just wondered, it's another job that the group is picking up.
Yeah, because the event in its original form was a memorial ride, which typically the town does not host memorial events for individuals. And then there is other aspects to it too that the town does not usually typically get involved in making those statements. So it's kind of, if the family wants to take part of our event, and then they can kind of work on the bike portion of that event together, but as a separate entity, that might be a better challenge. So instead of being our event, we're hosting a joint event. That might be something a little more palatable, but we have to be careful about, again, the core goals of the group.
Yeah, I think if we can fit it into Canada Day, I think it would fit really well with the bike parade, because I think it would just bring home the aspects of bike safety, especially before the summer. But we just don't have enough information yet.
And then maybe that's the way that you approach it with the Nevilles, is they would kind of help take care of the bike portion of Canada Day, kind of combining the Canada Day bike parade in with their safety event that they used to host, and involving them into something new that they can be involved in each year if they choose to do so.
Yeah, and I don't know if long-term Natalie's looking to have that much involvement in it. But it's definitely something else that we can look at as well. Anybody want something else to add to the meeting, or?
She wanted to drop the pride part too.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so there was some confusion over the naming of the event. It was called Ride with Pride, as in ride with pride for biking, not ride with pride. So she was thinking Ride Smart or something like that. But depending on what event, like if we end up putting it into Community Safety Day, it really doesn't need a separate name or banner. It can just be part of Community Safety Day. If we put it in with Canada Day, we can look at our options, but it's also just kind of part of the event.
Yeah, I think that there's ways to make it work.
It may also give us, if we're able to put it into Canada Day, we've still been looking for something to draw people in. A bike course might be part of that.
Yeah, we did ask her to participate this year and she has full intention of doing that. And she does have some fundraising money that she will contribute towards it. I just don't know how much, so. We've kind of been playing phone tag all week. So we're still a ways out on that one, but it kind of, unfortunately, that event, if we take it on in whatever capacity, really dictates almost everything else that we're planning on doing. That's what the committee's struggling with right now for location wise. Kind of too soon maybe to get all the details on this one, yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I think even if we just offer them Canada Day. They could still use that money if they have extra donations moving forward to this year. To maybe, yeah, sponsor or pay for the rodeo portion. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if they're just like a quote unquote booth, not a booth, but a section of that event, they can still do their memorial bike draw as a memorial as part of the sub event kind of thing.
I think if the town's committee is not organizing a memorial event and a sponsor or participant in that event is hosting a certain segment to honor a lost individual, they're kind of heading it up, they're taking part. I think that's okay. I just was worried if the town itself through the committee taking on a memorial event is probably outside our directive.
At least that approach still takes the burden of planning an event and the stuff around off of that plate, and they can focus solely on that piece.
I think one thing in the discussion with Natalie, one thing that we were really shocked at was the overall cost of the event with everything they have. For the amount of people that they draw, you know, I guess we've done quite well in having some of the events we have for not even half the cost of cost them to do the events. So I think the committee should be quite happy with what we've been able to get for and to offer the people.
I think last year their numbers were down.
Yeah, they only had about 100 people that would show up, and she had penciled in about 15,000 to put on that event, which based on our experience of some of this stuff and what costing is, it's tall. I will say it's just tall, but yeah, we're just quite a ways away really from bringing that on board if that's what we choose, so. Anyone else have anything that they got out of that meeting that they want to share? We appreciate Natalie definitely coming and talking to us. She was quite enthusiastic about it, but I think she's coming to the realization that it's time maybe to move on and not dwell on it, I guess is what we thought, so. Moving on, Easter in the Park update. So we have some posters out there. I definitely think it's time, Alex, to maybe start doing Facebook for sure. For the Wyoming area only. So far, we have 45 adults registered and 39 kids registered as of today. And the range anywhere from, let's say, a year up to 9. So quite a good range, so.
Or can you remind me what we passed for the Facebook?
I think it was 75, but I'll check.
That's still March the 30th.
Yes,
Lucky.
Malaki, yep. From 11 till 2.
And the Optimist did add it to their road sign as well.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. So in speaking of that, I do have some posters. Or if you wanna take some around, and Mike, if you want, whatever, if someone wants to take some around. And I also have kind of save the dates, a couple posters there, like a half a dozen that seem to go over quite well, let people know what's going on when throughout the year, but not necessarily where. And then they got the QR code where they can all of a sudden link to our Facebook page. Which is great because we now have jumped up to 871 people that have now followed the page. We've got quite a bit in the last 2 weeks, which is really nice. So this is just the overall letting people know what we have planned.
Will you get the that notification on the sign down the street here?
I have to write that down since you're here.
The small animal farm, the pet farm, do we know if the check had gone out to them?
They confirmed they received
Oh,
it.
they have?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
perfect.
so they're booked and ready to go.
Okay. The Kamlaki Optimists are, the Huron Shores Optimists there, they are providing free hot dogs, pop and chips, so that's why I'm keeping track of the adult numbers as well for them. The egg farmers, they are donating a variety of swag for the goodie bags for the kids.
Do we know what we have yet? Have they
Alicia sent a list.
dropped it off?
No,
Okay.
no, not yet.
I'm just trying to figure out how big of bag we need to order. If we can just get like a smaller, like normal size treat bag, or if we need something kind of oversized.
The egg farmers have them. Sometimes they have little bags.
Yeah.
They are also looking into the fact of possibly providing eggs for one of the games.
Real eggs?
We're gonna hard boil them.
Oh, okay.
And we'll have a tarp over the store as well.
That was the other thing that we were discussing too, is some of the games that we can have, and how they fit in with any of our safety regulations. So could we do like sack races and that sort of thing, or not?
Don't know if there is guidelines around sack racing anymore.
Well, they could volunteer.
Yes.
The other thing was 3-legged races. All the fun things that we used to do that never mattered.
Like drinking out of a water.
Don't do that?
No, I do.
So she had just said, pencils, keychains, bookmarks, little kids in the kitchen recipe cards. And she was hoping for those grocery lists with the magnets.
Okay, yeah, so that should all kind of fit into a small, like into a normal size bag. So we'll probably just get some various wrapped chocolates to go inside of it as well, and then that should be good. And that kind of fits within our $300 budget. The tree bags.
I don't know what figured out for candy.
So I think we've decided that Dollarama is probably our cheapest.
Okay.
It's significant, it's probably like half the price of Bulk Barn. I think we'll still get some candy from Bulk Barn though for the jars. Because that'll be easier for it'll be more variety for the jars, I'm guessing. Do we wanna go through the few different activities that we wanna have at the event then? Okay.
Just so tough. Just trying to find guidelines for sack racing on our insurance company's website.
So we're hoping to do sack racing, and then we're also gonna have, spoons that you can carry the egg across a line. And then potentially egg tossing between people and stepping back, all with hard-boiled eggs, so that, we don't make too big of a mess. So, yeah.
These.
Hmm?
I
Yes.
seem to remember these.
Oh, yes, pin the tail on the bunny.
Oh, you ready for that?
With Velcro or toothpaste. Right?
Yeah.
No pins, please.
And then, we're gonna have coloring with the fire department. We were also thinking about having a craft, just in case somebody forgets their Easter basket.
Coloring sheets.
And then. I think that was
Pictures
it.
with the Easter bunny.
Yes, photos of the Easter bunny.
You these two.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Exciting.
pin the tail on the bunny.
Yes.
I think that's it.
In the line.
We're gonna try our best.
And we're hoping that the weather's nice enough too, we can bring the sidewalk chalk, and the kids could potentially do some coloring with that as well.
Fire department. Have some cleaning exercises, right?
First aid.
No cleaning.
Oh, cleaning.
Yeah.
About chalk.
First aid from the back racing that we might be allowed to do based on Adam's research.
Oh, that's sprained ankles.
Yeah, if you can check on sack racing and three-legged racing to see if any of those are an option. And then there'll obviously also be the egg hunt, which will be in 2 different areas. Probably 4 and under and 5 and above, something along those lines. And if an adult wants to take several children into the older section, then that's absolutely fine.
Outside or in.
Hopefully outside, weather permitting. But given that the weather's been really nice, hopefully outside.
I'm over at Nettie's. Yeah.
Well, you got Alex, he's not too far away either.
Well, he's a little further down.
And then the eggs themselves are gonna be empty, and we'll do, probably 5 eggs for younger kids and 10 eggs for older. And then we'll have a few of us, replacing the eggs as the kids get them. If we could find some high school volunteers, that might not be a bad job for a couple high school kids. We could put some bunny ears on them and send them off to the legs. Gently.
Do you want to put a posting up then for volunteers?
So I can confirm that in London, England, sack racing has been banned because it's a health risk.
We thought it would be really good, for the, advertising for the mill, because we could get sacks from there.
Great.
And the backdrop, we have a backdrop, right?
Yes.
And we've got bales of hay,
Yes, we'd be able
Yeah,
to
we
pay.
got 4
Yeah.
bales, yeah.
a chair.
Yes.
You were looking at that, were you, Brenda?
I thought we just decided on the
The
bales.
hay, yeah.
The bale, okay. Okay. Santa's chair.
And then does anybody have some like cute planters that we could bring? Just to kind of make a little. Window? Around like little, yeah, like little. Or we can see how the budget looks. Maybe we can get a couple of those like little crates from Home Depot and put some greenery type stuff in it.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking we would do that like around our backdrop, just. to
Yeah.
make it
Yeah,
The backdrop for pictures or what's it?
yes, yeah, pictures with East Benny.
It's gonna be busy.
Hopping along.
Oh, my goodness.
And then we'll just let people take their own photos on their own phones. And the dates do work out nice. The Legion is doing an egg hunt on the 29th, so the dates don't overlap with each other. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's new this year.
So yeah, there is interest in this event, which is kind of nice to see. We weren't really sure how it would pan out, but I would say based on the number of emails I get from you every day on it. Interest is there, which is good.
What's your numbers again, right at the moment?
In total, 45 adults, 39 children, so.
Well, we still got some time too.
Yeah.
Well, we just got a couple posters out and we haven't pushed it by any means, but I think we're at the point with everything kind of organized or just about finished organizing now. We'll ramp up the advertising for the event, so.
Oh, and then of course we have the animal farm event.
We know what they're bringing,
Let me
probably on the list.
go this in.
Since I'm looking up liability and stuff. I presume the animal farm purveyor has insurance.
Yes. Did you need a copy of that?
Yes, please.
Jessica also sent a message. She's trying to join on the Zoom link.
You'd be okay.
Um. So we did the. We did the small animal.
Yep.
Did we? Okay. So they are bringing. Rabbits, guinea pigs, chickens, and ducks or ducklings. With 2 facilitators. They did have an option for larger animals, but alpacas and goats felt a little big for the petting zoo, so.
We're doing outdoors maybe. It's at a community center.
I'll ask them for their insurance, so and send it over.
Yes, please.
So yeah, I would definitely say we're well organized. Is Jessica online date? Jessica, do you have any comments on the Easter at Kamlaki?
Nope.
Okay.
I think so.
Lady, a lot of words, eh?
Sorry, I'm putting the kids to bed.
No problem.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, if some people can grab a couple posters and stuff for me, that would definitely help facilitate getting them out, for sure. 5.4, events location update, again, that's kind of really nothing we can talk about yet. I guess the committee is concerned about taking one of our events, the June 8th one out to Kamlaki. But that's still up in negotiation. Depending on how we fit in the bike rodeo scenario.
In what sounds, sorry?
Just, we have a concern about moving the one big event of ours, communities, the picnic out to Kamlaki area. So I'm not gonna say really right now where we're putting it because I don't honestly know. It kind of all hinges on what that Natalie is thinking of, I guess, so. It's tough to kind of. It's kind of tough to fit in out in Kamlaki, certain things because either the ball tournaments are playing or this is, it's to get a date that's kind of working for everyone is honestly a little bit tough, but we're still working with who we can. Yep.
I know we were looking at the water ball.
Yep.
Safety one, bringing it down to the lake. Now that I think about it, do you know when the roads are closed until for the or is it triathlon that we just got approved? Do you know when the roads reopen? Cause it's on the same day as the safety day.
4 o'clock, but I'm not sure, 4 or 5.
Big cross right in front of Lake Shore Park, I think.
The triathlon.
I think it's just the bike course.
No,
The
you
run
have your
course too.
running course because we have the bikes going across Egremont Road and they end up going along Michigan Avenue back and forth.
Yeah.
And then come back to Kamlaki Side Road, back along the Egremont Road, back to to the Bryce Grove School.
Yeah.
Then they run from Bryce Grove School out to East Court along the Egremont Road.
Okay, so the run course is that too, yeah. Do you know when they would probably reopen?
Well, when I work at it, we're usually over about 1 o'clock. But, you know,
July 20th,
So we can't do this.
set to move ahead on July 20th. I'll take better part of the morning and early afternoon.
yeah,
That's when the 8:30 is when one starts and 10:30 is when the stuff starts.
Because if we can't do it at Lakeshore Park, then the community center is going to have,
Right, it's me packed with people.
yeah,
Even a community center would be a challenge that day because you're gonna have them down to Egremont, right?
yeah, they're going up the Kamlaki Side Road. They go up south on the Kamlaki Side Road to Michigan.
So, yeah, I guess I'm just for right now gonna leave well enough alone for the events. The dates have not changed. The name of the events have not changed. It's just location is still up in the air. Regarding the safety information day on next plan. I've had a lot more requests about getting included in on that day, so I'm just naming numbers right now. I was also asked by a friend of mine if we wouldn't mind putting in a request for some funds for that. He suggested putting in a request for funds for $2,500 for the safety day. Just because it's right up their alley and they would like to contribute, so. Sure. Sure. So, I won't hear back from that for a while, but that was kind of a nice surprise phone call on that. But what we are intending on showcasing that day is 100% right up the alley of this company. So, we'll see.
With that location item, I know the committee enjoys having Canada Day in Wyoming, however, that's an event that can't be the Lake Shore. There's nothing stopping it from the Lake Shore. The safety event and the picnic in the park can move it to Lake Shore too. The Lake Shore Diamond isn't typically used for a lot of tournaments per se, that those are at Armor Haley. The Lake Shore Diamond does get used a lot during weeknights and stuff like that for event leagues and on occasional weekends for specific events.
The negative point of that is that the Bryce Grove Optimists run this Canada Day the same weekend.
That would be a problem.
And they're right next door to each other.
That leaves the picnic in the park or the safety bit.
One of
we
our,
have to move the day for the safety event though. We couldn't do it on the same day as the triathlon.
No. But the triathlon looks to be on the 20th, so
Not the same day.
It is. Jessica, you're kind of spearheading the, is there, you're spearheading the water ball tournament, right, for the fire department?
Yes, still am.
And do you know where, you're at with that?
The fire, chief is supposed to get us a list of all the chiefs to email.
Did we move the date then?
You got rides in that book.
No, I don't. I'm very hesitant to move it because the community's been waiting for this. This will be the third year now. We've been wanting to offer it and we have not been able to. And this year it is so far so good on
Yeah.
track. And I just hate the thoughts of now throwing a monkey wrench into it.
The only other problem with moving Canada Day is it is nice to have Canada Day in Wyoming because of the beer tent. A lot of people walk. Whereas if we have it in Bryce Grove, it's not as walkable for most people. But not a deal breaker. Well, no, sorry. So the Optimists have Canada Day, so we can't do Canada Day. So we'd have to move, we'd have to keep it then in Market.
So as I said earlier, we have been really trying to fulfill both parts of the county. It's tough. It is honestly tough, but we are still doing the best we can to juggle things north and south. So
Would moving it a week be, if we moved it a week to the 27th, that at least, because as of right now, it's the 20th, which is only 2 weeks after our Canada Day event. So if we looked at moving it a week to the 27th, that'd at least give us more time to plan in between two events as well.
was that Alex?
Should I say today? Just to avoid the,
The July what?
because right now it's July 20th. And if we want to keep that one by the lake,
Is there anything going on that weekend? Is anything booked for?
December.
I haven't seen any road closure requests, that's for sure.
Deny anymore?
Would you be still hosting a touch a truck, and would that be at your safety day or your Canada Day?
That's under consideration too. We thought about having it in Canada Day. Now, we've done it for the last 2 years. It has always gone over really well though. But it is also logistically very cumbersome to arrange. So it's up in the air still.
If you get rid of touch a truck for the emergency services, you can just have the fire department bring out vehicles, OPP, EMS and town public works, and they still get a kick out of seeing all the big equipment. And those groups might be a little easier to coordinate with.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on here to 6.1 financial update. So in the package that Nicole gave there is numbers. Couple questions, Nicole. So the 12,026.73, that is where we're starting January 1st with?
Yeah, so that number includes what you're budgeted for the year and also what you have for reserves. So that's all included.
That includes the 75. Sponsorship is showing in that figure yet.
So those 2023 sponsorships are in that number as well.
So that one that came in, okay. So as Mike said, on top of that, we have roughly 12,000 right now that is come in or pledged for sure. For that, so we're sitting around 24 and we still have, I've got quite a few more out there myself. I know Mike, you've got a few out as well. Ones that traditionally have always just given. I don't know if anyone else has any other comments on that, but I think so far so good.
we hear back about what we got. Did we get everything we thought we were gonna get from that Canada grant last year? Do we know? I know we were waiting to hear back to make sure they were covering everything that we thought they would cover. I just don't know. Did we ever hear back? I don't think.
The Wyoming Community Foundation grant.
No, we applied
The Celebrate Canada.
the Celebrate Canada grant. And there was some stuff in there that we thought was gonna be covered and I think we were gonna look into it. Cause there was some money there, cause some of those things we're gonna get paid for. Which-
I thought we already received it, but because of how it was applied for, we may have to give some of it back.
I think it was a reimbursement based grant.
Well, can you follow up with the Norma and then just bring a report back what was covered and what wasn't covered for next meeting?
Nicole, speaking of Wyoming Community Foundation, is that grant in there or not in there?
I'll double check. I'm not sure if it is or not.
Does anyone else have any other questions for Nicole on where we stand for financial position right now?
Would that make the foundation a platinum sponsor then?
How does that work, Adam? Yeah.
Some really sponsorship, they provided the grant for a specific event, so. I do think they require we'd have to look at the forms, they do require some advertising of their donations, so maybe through sponsorship is the best way to do that. Nicole, you have the grant forms and the approval, or we should have them somewhere. We try to find them to bring it back next meeting to make sure that we're following through with what we're supposed to.
I'll do, cause was that grant for a specific event or just the committee? Those
It was for a specific event.
just in the village? Yeah, so we might just have to, for their signage requirements.
But would we not put them on the regular sponsorship board then, or just a dedicated?
It would, since their grant was for Christmas in the village, typically it would have to be some sort of signage requirement for that event. I think that's separate.
So Brad, the Wyoming Community Grant money is in those numbers there.
It's in there already.
Yeah.
To be used for an event or purposes.
I agree, there should be a lot more. You have anything else financial? No? Yes. Okay, moving on. Correspondence, so 8.1 special events. So I have a motion here by Gord, seconded by Mike Nagel, that the Special Events Committee authorize staff to apply for grant funding for a drone show to be used for Christmas in the Village 2024. Before I ask for the vote on that, do you want to fill us in maybe on what's happening there?
So two things occurred since our last meeting. When we were contacted by the drone company that provided us a quote for Canada Day last year, wondering if we'd be interested in their services for 2024. Didn't commit one way or the other. We just asked them to provide their brochure and pricing, which you have in your agenda tonight. Shortly after that, the My Main Street grant came up. And senior management sat down and looked at what was eligible. And what we wanted to apply for is in partnership with the County of Lambton, we're going to do some works to the frontage of the facade and the garden from the library. This has not been proposed yet, but it's only been discussed at the staff level. We're going to talk to council what they want to do with the currently vacant lot. That was tax sale, whether we want to surplus that or turn it into a urban parkette. And we also want to add additional lights across the road with more planters, more benches, and more aesthetically pleasing items for the downtown area. So we're gonna lump that into one grant. Additionally, that is a sizable grant. And they really said they want community events centered around the downtown, which Christmas in the Village is, and all the other items. So we thought it was a very good fit to kind of, we're gonna do all this work to downtown. We're gonna celebrate that Christmas in the Village with the drone show. So Santa can fly by, they can form a Christmas tree, they can form anything out of lights. So we think that's a good fit. That, and we won't know if we get the grant until May or June. So having the drones for Canada Day would be a heavy risk to us because we'd have to book them ahead of time with no guaranteed grant. And it's not an expensive proposition. It's $10,000 for like a 10-minute show, so. So we're figuring we'll apply for a longer show as part of the Canada Day celebration, or sorry, as part of the Christmas in the Village celebration. And if we get the grant, great, we can book them because we should know months in advance. If we don't get the grant, you carry on as you normally would.
Without the drone.
Without drones, yes.
You said that there was gonna be some additional lighting as well for like holiday lighting or just like?
No general street string. So those string lights that are currently across the road, we want to add additional strings.
Okay,
The community loves them and we get lots of compliments about them. So we want to thicken it up a bit, if you will.
Visitors love them too.
they are really nice.
As long as you don't have a dump truck coming down. With the box up.
So far, so
I'll get rid of them pretty quick.
Is there any room in that budget to try to get some additional spending for bigger decorations for Christmas in the Village?
possibly.
Maybe.
I would probably need to get some quotes and some supplier documents to do that. I guess we could apply for additional decorations as well. It might be better to throw them in Main Street Christmas decorations.
But even having, like, I know we've talked before about how Sholia has those beautiful decorations in the park, which are pricey, but very nice looking. You know, having something like that in the town with our.
Maybe the compromise is permanent decorations for the Wyoming downtown core.
Exactly, something that would.
Necessarily temporary decorations just for the one-off event.
Yeah, something that would be up all season long to dress up the town a little bit more.
So that's what I refer to him. I call him Lonnie's Lights because he was an advocate for those.
Comment I would have on the drone show, that there's a massive difference between a 50 drone show and a 100 drone show, like a huge, right? In terms of the look and the ability to showcase certain things. If possible, I would probably go with 100.
If we're applying for a grant, we might as well go for the Gusto because we're not paying for it. If we're paying for it, it'd be a different compensation.
That was the only thing that I am familiar with, is definitely more just adds some flexibility to. So I've read the motion. Is everyone all in favor of the town approving this? Favor? Carried.
The deadline is March 31st, so over the next 2 weeks, normally Nicole and I will be putting together a preliminary grant package. That grant package will go to council for the final meeting in March to get approval, but we'll have it ready to go. So it's just a matter of putting the information in and hitting send. We need a little bit of time to actually get a budget together, meet with the county of Lambton. So we can't bring it to the next meeting. So as with all of our grants, we're always under the gun to get it done. So we'll be working on that at the very end of March. So put time in your schedule to write a grant after that council meeting.
Not a super hard grant, but there's a lot of writing. I've been working on all week.
Really?
You have your own show too.
Meeting pay for grant writing?
What's that?
A meeting pay for grant writing?
So based on what Melissa had said, did you need some numbers from us then to throw into that?
No, I think just because it's not going to be special event decoration, it's going to be downtown decorations. That's a council decision. So we're going to take that under advisement. We appreciate the suggestion. We'll get some pricing and some suggestions and bring it to council. So, but I do think it's a good idea because it's usually pretty bare in the winter.
It is, like the lights across are so nice, and if we could just do something maybe like down the poles or something, like just to kind of.
Mini Christmas, just something different.
Yeah.
Totally different. Yeah.
We can do some research over the next few weeks and get some pricing on that. We'll maybe meet later this week to make sure who's on first and what I want you to do for pricing, what Paul needs to do, what I'll do.
I've got a lot of that stuff, Nicole, if you would like it. The guy that I was talking to deals with Niagara Parks Commission. A little bit different than what Petrolia got, but more selection. I can send that to you.
Okay, perfect.
8.2, the TD corporate donations and sponsorship for 2024. I don't know anything about.
It's just asking for sponsorship, so you would basically fill out the forms and send a sponsorship letter and ask if they'd like to support one or any or all of our community events for the year.
So obviously that's something that we would qualify for, then I take it.
First glance, it appears so, however, the information provided on their website is minimal, and they don't start actually giving you information until you're a third of the way through the application process. So we're just looking for your endorsement tonight to apply on your behalf, and Nicole, you're working through the application process.
Already started it.
No, I didn't have a motion for that, but you don't need a motion.
I can create one up.
So I'm good with that?
Favorite?
All in favor? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
New business, I know that the need subcommittee meetings coming up again. It's a very difficult year for the simple fact we're not sure where we're heading stuff, number one. Number two, normally at this stage, we would have food vendors booked, we would have entertainment booked. We would have vendors for certain events booked. We kind of need to really buckle down and figure out what's happening where, and then who we can book, because I've been putting a few people off that they need to know. So
In regards to location, that's something I'd like to have discussed at this main group. It's probably something that should be discussed in the open, not necessarily as part of the planning for the individual groups itself. That being said, I do have to reiterate the point that the town does want to see events in multiple locations. I understand your reservations. Even that one event in Kamlaki, I'm still hesitant because that puts 3 here in Wyoming. So we do need to host an event of some sort in Kamlaki. You're doing the Easter in the Village, which is great, but I'd like to see at least one summer event there too. And that puts 2 events in Kamlaki and 3 in Wyoming. I understand the logistics can make that challenging, but I think it can be done if we adjust our plans.
I think realistically, Canada Day is gonna have to stay in Wyoming because the Optimists are already doing an event.
I think if we can move Water Ball Safety Day, the dates, we're not on the same week as triathlon, that would probably makes the most sense.
Yeah, if we can book it on the 27th. Jessica, do you know if we moved it by a week, is it gonna affect the planning drastically, or are we still okay to do that?
No, you're still okay to do that.
So why don't we shoot for that? Then.
27th.
So then that'll be Easter in Kamlaki, picnic and Canada Day in Wyoming, waterfall in Kamlaki, and then Christmas in Wyoming.
So it's 3 and 2.
That water ball and safety day, farm safety, et cetera.
Yes,
Okay, water ball.
And then we still have the additional stuff of trivia nights or movie nights. To kind of fill in where we need to. We haven't even worried about that, I guess, yeah.
and then we did kind of briefly discuss too, whether or not there's any sort of joining that we can do with some events that the Optimists are running, or potentially the summer send off. To see if there's any way for us to kind of piggyback on events where people are already going to help get us out there more in Kamlaki as well.
Because I do know the Optimists do host a Christmas event. I think any assistance is appreciated. We do contribute towards a horse or donkey ride. I'd have to remember exactly which one, but we do contribute. So I know you all have a busy schedule and cautious about the note, but I think if we could work here to find a way to kind of help promote, or at least expand their events, it would be greatly appreciated.
Your Christmas event.
I think it's the week after yours traditionally. or it's in very close proximity.
I think it was the fall.
Yeah, it was falling to last year.
Because Santa did a one-stop shop in Wyoming Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, because I think Santa takes a drive around. Kentucky, doesn't he?
Because on the Sunday he started in Wyoming for breakfast and then went to Kamalaki for lunch.
Good thing he's got reindeer.
This fair.
Yeah, the fair weekend. Even if we don't partner with Summer Send Off, I wonder if it would be possible for us to have a booth at Summer Send Off.
Well, we have a booth pretty easy, but,
Do they charge for booths?
well, you know, we can
All
always.
funds go to the arena that they're saving for. Outdoor ice rink proposed. It is a town event on town lands, so I think we could probably work together to agree that the town as a whole can get one and maybe special events along with town employees can have an information booth there.
It might be a nice way, because there is a lot of people that go to the Summer Send Off, so it might be a nice way to branch out as well.
One thing I might steal from where I live, Strathroy has the farmer's market downtown every Saturday during the summer. The municipality has set up an information booth. They have a senior manager and a politician there every Saturday, but just to answer questions to the public. So
We get Gary there.
Every Saturday.
I'm volunteering to create a farmer's market happen marathon every Saturday.
Gary and Nettie.
Summer send off and your other events, just food for
What a
thought.
team.
Yeah, usually at the picnic in the park, we have decent turnout. The other new business too, so Wacky Jacks reached out to me. I know we had briefly discussed, booking them, for the community or for the picnic in the park and Canada Day. She is looking at holding the dates for us, but obviously we need to agree that we're comfortable with that. Last year to do a double package in Canada Day and a single package in picnic, we were about just a little over $1,000. I don't know what our prices are like this year, but is everyone comfortable at least holding the dates for now, and we can confirm pricing closer to?
What kind of activities were you planning for the safety day, other than the water ball and the bike rodeo potentially?
So there's,
Safety.
yep, there's farm safety, there is Enbridge with a display. There is Transport Canada with boating safety and that type of stuff. There is, CN, there's Hydro One, there is, Union Gas. There's 7, I know that there's 7.
Is there any things for small kids to do?
Haven't looked at it yet because we've never had a safety day, but there probably will be something for the young ones to do.
Well, could be the bike rodeo too, right?
Well, I think if we don't do the bike rodeo with
Or just
Canada
leave it up.
Day, I don't think we're going to be able to do it because Optimus do a bike rodeo right around that time, so it would kind of be stepping on their toes.
And if the Canada, if the safety day is held at Lamreck, and you don't have any real pavement that you can run.
No, that wouldn't work, you're right.
So you can,
With
that's
the wacky, with the jumping castles, that was kind of my thought,
Yes.
because you'd be having them twice at McKay Park, once for Canada Day and once for your picnic in the village. Maybe something to consider, something alternative at Christmas or picnic in the village, so you can have the jumping castles as part of your safety day, just something to entertain the young ones.
OPP and Victim Services were the other two. Not sure whether Block Parent is still around and active. Some websites say yes, some say it was discontinued, so, but that's something that we need to resurrect if it's still around. So yeah, there's quite a few actually that have kind of are waiting to get a date from us for that, which is really nice. So I hope it all works out well, actually. The big thing is the water ball.
And Adam, do you know, have they confirmed when the aqua truck's available for the events? Is it available for? Is it?
I'd have to look it up. I can re-forward it to the group. Did anyone consider contacting Emergency Management Ontario for the safety day? They typically attend those because talk about, 24-hour bags.
Yeah, I think, is it Jay Van Clinken? Is that who used to do it?
Jay still does it for the county of Plympton. We do have an emergency manager, Dave Clark, who has a lot of contacts at EMO. So what I can, if you wanted to, maybe forward Dave's email to Brad. Get in contact. Dave's really good at getting contacts and getting information, so he's a former EMO employee, so he might be able to get EMO down here for the day.
I know I had phoned Jay, but he was going to be away that weekend. He said, I don't think I can get anyone to help. Was the conversation?
Don't worry about Jay, we'll do it at the town.
Okay.
And see if Dave can wrestle up some of his former coworkers from Emergency Management Ontario.
If we move it to the next weekend, maybe he's available.
Maybe he's available.
Yeah.
Well, that was not this
Yeah.
year. That was,
Okay.
what, 2 years ago, a year ago, so. Yeah. Anybody else have anything that they have questions for? Mary,
A question underneath, we're still in new business.
Mhm.
And I don't know if this is the staff or not, but we had an application out for looking for bodies for this committee.
Yes,
Have any applications on
we
that?
didn't have any. So we've reposted the ad, but we haven't put a deadline. We're just gonna say the community is actively looking for members and hopefully we need at least one more, so.
So back to the trailer, my apologies. So June 29th is Canada Day. June 8th, it's already booked. So June 29th is Canada Day, but you're changing July 20th to July 29th. So I'll reconfirm with my contact at Aqua that those dates will work.
Nothing else. I have a motion here by Jessica, seconded by Brenda, that the special events committee be adjourned until the next special events committee to be held April 8th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Favor? Gary, thank you, everybody, for everything.